Welcome to the MW podcast, comic podcast that is. I'm Matthew Littler.
And I'm William Stephen. Let's get this going.
Alright, so Will, as I always start off with every week, and before we get into it properly, what have you read for this week?
Okay, what have I read this week? See, I've been ill, so my reading has been pretty much limited because with migraines and stuff, you can't really concentrate. But Daredevil.
So you've been a pussy?
Yeah, pretty much.
Been a pussy.
Man flu and all that. Daredevil, but I finally got around to reading Frank Miller's Daredevil Born Again. And Frank Miller's Dark Knight Returns.
Good reads. See, the film's very good. I haven't read the book yet, even though that is my copy.
It is your copy.
I haven't read the book yet. I will. I've been...
Swamp Thing 5 to 11. Gotta get a bit of Swamp Thing each week. It's like a drug. Gotta take it.
Everyone loves Swamp Thing, and now there's going to be the issue 19s. It's a shame that
Scott
Snyder won't be doing it. But...
I love his Batman as well.
His Batman was
I
very
think he's
good.
an author just to with Hyder, sorry, to keep just to keep up to date with, because he seems to write solid stuff.
Oh yeah, it seems to be very solid. His thing will keep going with whatever he tries.
Big news. I don't know if it's been out there for a couple of weeks, but have you heard what his next big Batman storyline is going to be?
I don't. Well, I probably have heard it, but do tell.
Well, obviously we've heard of Frank Miller's Year One.
Yes, I ain't ready yet.
Well, it's synonymous with Batman. He's going to do, I think, something called Year Zero.
Ah, okay.
Which basically is how he it's his formative years, the way he goes away and learns all these martial arts and takes on his first supervillain and such.
So it's begins, but without Liam Neeson's giant penis.
We don't know until we read it.
There may be Liam Neeson's giant penis in there. Who knows?
So that's pretty exciting there. I'm kind one tends to look for that, but I'm collecting in the volumes. I'm so far behind now. I think we might as well get them in the volumes. They're nice and pretty.
It is a problem. I'm one of the ones. I'll get the volumes up to where we are, probably 13, 14, depending on how many issues you get in each one. Then I'll just buy the comics because I like to have the little ones. And I don't know. I find it wholly of a whole volume a little daunting. Yeah, I don't like books.
They're easy to look after, especially if you get them hardcover.
Yeah, the hardcover ones are easier to look after. I agree with you completely. But I've got a box. Everything's bordered. Everything's looking pretty good at the moment. So
okay, fair enough. Anyway, diving into the details of what we've read. Let's think back to my list. What have I read? A couple of issue ones here. Savage Wolverine #1. All New X-Men #1, which I have the variant edition, a variant edition of, which has Deadpool on the cover.
But he's not in the book.
Although he's not in the book, so explain that one to me, ladies and gentlemen. Age of Apocalypse, which is a spin-off from Uncanny X-Force, but obviously if you've read X-Men, it kind of obviously interlinks. 5 and 6, and Uncanny X-Men #1. Which I've just mentioned, but I don't know why we said it, but there we go.
That's fair enough. What's the pick of the week?
Frank Miller. Gotta bum Frank Miller.
Which one? Go on. If you had to toss a coin, just for people to argue who actually will ever listen to this, because, 21 views out of 2 whole podcasts, we are doing well.
See, I'm a Batman fiend, but I don't know, because it's very, very different, but... Well, I think so. Anyway, the similarities, but there's differences as well. But no, I have to go Batman because it's
Batman.
It's me. It's Batman.
That's fair enough. And it's all backed up by the Dark Knight Returns Part 1 and 2 DVD, Blu-ray. Go buy it. Brilliant. I clearly bought it.
Yes, clearly.
Clearly bought it. It was brilliant. I've watched that a few times now. It's excellent. And yeah. Buy that shit.
Okay, let's delve into your list. That's one of the things on your list. On your list, I need to read. So
yeah, there are. It's the same.
So
on
no
both
spoilers,
stuff.
please.
Animal Man 6 to 12.
Yeah, that's one. No spoilers.
I'm not going to spoil anything. You haven't read #1 yet, so it doesn't help.
Oh, I've read Green Lantern. Well, did I include that last week?
You didn't, because I don't think you had. You hadn't read it last week because you only bought it on the Saturday.
Okay,
And we did it on the Saturday night, didn't we?
I've got Green Lantern. There we go. I've read Green Lantern Volume 1 of the New 52.
Which is issues 1 to 7?
1 to 6 in this one.
1 to
1 to 6.
1 to 6. I thought it was 1 to 7 for some reason. Who knows? Yeah, Animal Man 6 to 12, mainly because I ain't got any more. They're coming in the post, and hopefully it'll be here tomorrow, so that'll be something to read. Swamp Thing 12 to 15. Don't know why I've not read 16 yet. It's here. I have it with me, but I have just not read it because I don't need to read Animal Man until I hit 17. The Joker graphic novel compilation thing that you lent me, which by who again?
Brian Azzarello is the writer, and the artist is Lee Bermejeo, something like that. I would pronounce it wrong, but
I haven't. As I say, I'm terrible with names, but no, it's a great book. We'll probably talk about that one.
For me, it's better than Killing Joke, but that's because
I did love Killing Joke. It was just, as we said, I think in the previous one, it's just far too short.
Yeah, it's just preference. I love the Killing Joke, but for me, there's something about I liked his takes on traditional the Batman villains.
Yeah, I liked his Joker in it as a whole because it just went from I'm sane to I'm downright off my rocker.
And I liked his take on Killer Croc,
the big black guy.
I liked it. I liked his Leo Bimajay. I really have to get the props to on this. I like the Riddler.
Riddler was awesome because it wasn't just Riddler's always looked just a bit gay and camp and seemed he was just a gangster with a bit of thing.
This one he makes him come across like a master thief, a crippled master thief, which is
it was a very good adaptation for that character and a very good showing of that. I was really surprised on that one. I've started reading the Green Lantern Volume 1, which you lent me, but I've only gone through the first 2 comics so far because I'm as lazy as they come. And I didn't have any light last night, so I couldn't read it. What did you
reckon to that? What's your
I'm enjoying it so far. I had already read number 1, but I've reread it because I had it on my Nexus. And it's really good. I've just got to the point where Hal Jordan's had his powers. You know, he's been given the ring, but Sinestro can take the powers away from him, so he does when he's trying to help people on the bridge. He's on the bridge. Am I getting something mixed up with something?
Yeah, there is a bridge. Yeah.
There is the bridge,
he holds him back,
Yeah.
Spoilers, sorry.
Spoilers for anyone who hasn't read it, but it came out in 2011, so shame on you, and shame on us for taking this long. But yeah, there's that. Superman number 1 from the New 52. I read it when I was asleep, so I need to reread it because there's a lot of dialogue in there.
I've read it, so there's going to be a big announcement later, so I'll leave it for that announcement, what I thought of the...
You read it?
Well, I briefly scanned it. I can't say I've read it in detail, but from what I've briefly scanned and what I've done in regards to research on the internet, because I do try and look up things. Yeah, I'll save that to what I used to call What the Fuck.
What the Fuck Superman. Yeah, it was. I don't know. As I say, I'm gonna give it a go properly, mainly because I was asleep. There was a lot of dialogue, and it's George Perez, which is just renowned for being a great writer. As I say, I think it was just because I was tired as hell. But we'll see how it goes. Got Wolverine number 1, the new run of Wolverine that they're doing. I've just shown you the first panel of it, and it's just a full screen panel. It's a good book. Amazing. The artwork just looks fantastic, and if it carries on like it is, I'm not going to tell any of the story because he hasn't read it yet, so it's not my fault. Blame him. It's if it carries on, it's going to be good. If it suddenly changes, it can be shit. I think it depends. With anything, it depends how they carry on.
For me, one of its saving points is, for me, there's a Marvel writer out there. I'm going to name and shame this dude because I hate his writing. Brian Michael Bendis. He seems to write nearly everything for Marvel, almost everything, and it sucks donkey balls. That's all I'm going to say.
So if you're him, it's Will, not me.
What's he going to do? Send Iron Man after me.
Excuse me, Iron Man doesn't exist. He's going to send Captain America. He's going to bum you. Because, he's a whiny little bitch in the Avengers film. He's going to obviously bum you. I've read the Avengers versus X-Men. coughing on something like that.
I tried to go away. I can't help it. I'm still recovering from the man flu.
Avengers versus X-Men #1. It's a good read so far. It's literally just got to the point where they're about to start duking it off, so it's not been very exciting so far. It's not a bad read.
Again, though, I had a few of these comics, and I got to this age where it crosses over on nearly every mainstream Marvel comic and such. And I got to the point where, there's
too many to follow.
There's too many to follow, and I don't like the Avengers anyway. I like the film, but I've read, and I'm not saying this without quantifiable evidence. I've read quite a lot of the Avengers stuff recently, and mainly I should really try and find a different author, because everything I seem to find in the Avengers is written by Bendis.
I'm reading this one. There's only 12 issues so far. I've got most of them able to get them on eBay for like £1.85, so I'll give them a go.
That's a testament, that is, to how many people don't like it.
There's literally only one on eBay, though. I can only get one to buy it. So it could be like only one person bought it, or it could be it's that good overall, which I've heard really good things about this particular run. But it completely, I don't know.
Yeah.
And then
just so donkey balls.
You're gonna just say that all the way through this, aren't you?
I'm gonna at random stage I'm just gonna say Bendis donkey balls, and people know what I'm about.
Final one was Night Wishes issues 2 and 3.
Night Wishes? What wishes are made at night?
Well, they did change the singer like 8 times.
Okay.
Yeah, see, I took that one back for what it is. Nightwish, great band. Do not be a singer in it.
So I'll correct you just because the feeling of superiority is worth it. Nightwing.
Fuck you. Anyway, yeah, Nightwing issues 2 and 3. They're really good. As I say, I'm not going to ruin it because he hasn't read them yet. He's read number 1, but not 2 and 3, mainly because, again, they're on my Nexus until I can get them in hard copy.
And I'm reading Superman because
you're going to give it a go, Will.
I'm going to give it a go, but I'm going to give my reasons later. And what was going to be my weekly bitch about him.
We're not going to weekly bitch. We're just going to.
We're always going to have a bitch about Ryan Reynolds. There's nothing's going to change.
No one likes Ryan Reynolds.
No one's going to change our minds about Ryan Reynolds.
Ryan Reynolds ruins every role he's ever in. It doesn't even matter if he's not in it. If he was considered for the role, it's instantly ruined.
He's considered for the role of Captain America. There we go. That film
was he actually considered for that?
The first name I heard linked to that role was Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah, Chris Evans. He played him greatly, but he just seems... He was alright. I didn't mind the actual film.
If you're creating a film Marvel universe as such, which they are, because they're bringing them together through the Avengers films and linking them through Nick Fury popping up in the individual films.
Yeah.
You can't
Sam Jackson.
You can't have the same actor playing 2 of the characters, because he played a Human Torch in Fantastic Four.
Yeah, he did.
And now he's playing Captain America. Does not work.
It's true, and the fact that Sony own the rights to Fantastic Four doesn't matter then, because he'll never be in it. It's Fantastic Four, it's Johnny Torch.
I suppose they're looking like that.
Yeah, if you're looking like that.
Okay.
I think that's why they did it, which actually is on a list of crap that we were looking at earlier, that you can't have the same person playing multiple characters.
That is true. Anyway, so is that the end of your...
That is the end of my list.
Right, before we go on to our usual shenanigans and debates, we want to give it a quick... We want to give a quick shout out. We had a nice tweet from a guy called J Mudd, and we just want to say thank you for listening or just noticing us, and we are glad that we've entered the realm of comic book.
Did you actually read the tweet?
Yeah, it was very nice.
It was one too.
Chronicling. It's nice to see someone chronicling their entry into comic books.
And I'm glad he's doing it too, and he's pretty much.
And he's a nice guy, because obviously if he's read anything stuff, he's probably realised, they're getting so much wrong, and they've not read this, they've not read that. But he didn't. He just said thank.
Yeah, it was a really nice tweet, and If anyone else wants to tweet us, it is at MW Comic Podcast. I got it right.
Yes, you did.
It took me about 8 tries now.
And Draymond, if you want to further this tweet thing, we can. If you want to give us props or something to read, we'll eventually get around to it. But don't give us too much, because
we can't afford it.
We can't afford it.
We're lazy and we can't afford it. Yeah, but thanks very much. I'm going to give you that.
eBay today. Finished my eBay shopping today.
Yeah.
So I got my month's comic book reading sorted, apart from what I nicked a few. I've got 2 Grant Morrison Batman graphic novels, and they are Arkham Asylum, A Serious House on a Serious Earth, something like that, and Batman and Son. I've also got all 5 comics from the first Robin miniseries around Tim Drake from either 1990 or 92. I have the first 3 issues of Blade, It Takes One to Kill One. The completed collection of the Planet Hulk storyline. And the first 7 of the Demon Knights New 52 comics from DC.
Fair enough, it's enough to keep you going at least.
It is. Like I say, in that Hulk one, there's like 11 comics plus Planet Hulk Gladiatorial Handbook. Which I don't know what that is, but it sounds exciting.
Gladiators in Hulk, so he just goes in, smashes the Reds in, and just like, yeah. I am Hulk.
I've read the story, I'm not going to give too much away, but it's basically Hulk, space, Spartacus.
3 words into which to describe Hulk.
Well, it describes that particular storyline anyway.
Yeah, I know, I agree with you on that. I looked at it earlier, and I don't know if you saw it. I did, of course you saw it, because I showed you it. The artwork that Jack Kirby did for the Argo film. What did you think of that, other than just the fact that Galactus was just so prominent in it?
That was awesome.
If I could get full prints of that, I would just love it.
What I thought of it? It was very much like Flash Gordon type sci-fi.
Yeah, it did look like. But that's what the film was, wasn't it? It was cheesy, low budget.
It's a good thing it didn't get made.
Argo, fuck yourself.
I mean, not necessarily.
Please don't sue me for using
The Ben Affleck film should be made, but the film within the film should be made.
Yeah, no.
That's what I'm saying.
I know you meant that. I meant don't make the Galactus.
What I didn't realise is Jack Kirby, who was mainly a Marvel guy, but did a lot of stuff with Stan Lee. Going back to something that I recently bought, created one of the Demon Knights.
Which one was it?
One beginning with E.
We can't remember his name.
Rich
Jim? I don't know. Like that. I can't remember his name at all. I know you showed me earlier.
It begins with E.
It begins with E. Please let us know.
That's alright. Okay. I can officially say I've got my introduction to Frank Miller as well this week.
Your introduction to Frank Miller? How do you mean? What? Oh, in actually reading his stuff?
In actually reading the stuff, yeah.
Okie dokie. Because you said you did have the Daredevil and the Dark Knight Returns.
Yeah. So I'm not, instead of talking the talk, I've walked the walk as well.
Oh,
like you.
I know, I need to read it. It's just that you borrowed it from me, therefore I couldn't read it.
Because you had so much to read that you wasn't reading that for some reason.
No. Well, I wanted to get Swamp
Batman.
Yes, but I'm not the biggest Batman fan. I wanted to get Swamp Thing up to date, and I wanted to get my Animal Mans up to date just because I bought them. Then I'm going to go on to something, and as I say, I can keep up to date easy once I've got through everything. There's a lot of back reading.
One thing I'll say about Frank Miller, which we'll have further discussions once you've read a bit of Frank Miller, to be truthful, because you can't really. Yeah. It's just me preaching what I think, so I can't really.
Praise the Lord.
I have a debate. Praise the Lord. Yeah. He strips back. I think with each, if you read his stuff, he strips both the heroes back to the bare bones.
Fair enough.
He deconstructs them for you to see them in their full glory. Which you'll see that
when I read
when you read it.
As I say, I'll link both of them. I've got the rest of Green Lantern to read, and depending what comes through the post in the next couple of days. But
Daredevil
for next week.
Also, people say this. When people hear Frank Miller, they think the Batman thing, and rightly so. It's fantastic this way, but Daredevil is brilliant.
Yeah.
Absolutely brilliant, and it's a bit because Marvel also for me from what I've read and seen, and probably people be going, shut the hell up. But certainly in the current year anyway, Marvel's always seems a bit more PC than
they're very
DC.
family orientated. They
Yes.
get the kid. It's a very you can get the kids in early kind of thing. It's not. We've got to censor what we've done. Well, we don't have to censor what our children are reading.
Yeah.
We don't have to worry about it. Where everything on DC, from what I've seen so far, has a rating of either teen or like with the Before Watchmen stuff. Don't read it unless you're older, because you don't want to read this.
Like I say, there's a few. This is what comes to mind. There's Daredevil, Blade, and Punisher that are a bit more darker characters of Marvel, but you don't really hear much about them compared to the bigger characters that have later become the Avengers Assembled and whatnot.
Yeah, there is a lot of smaller ones that just don't. They don't seem to get the dues at time, even though they're good characters.
I still contest Blade. The first Blade is one of the best comic book movies. Yeah,
Marvel.
It's Blade's Marvel.
Marvel.
Anyway, I've told that about Blade earlier about a previous podcast, so we'll keep this up. Anyway, yeah. So Frank Miller, very good at deconstructing the main character. So he deconstructs Batman to show you, above all, his moral code that he lives so hard by, and Frank
until he virtually kills the Joker.
Well, he pussies out, so the Joker does it for him.
Yeah, but he would have. He breaks the neck. He would have, if it was the fact that the Joker survived that neck break, he would have killed him.
Probably not. He probably would puss it out. I think he would puss it out.
He actually did the neck. He actually went and snapped the neck.
No, not in the comic anyway.
I'll have to read this.
See, you're arguing someone has actually read the thing.
No.
And Daredevil basically through corruption, he gets everything taken away from him. His real identity, Matt Murdock, but he still has that uncorruptible core. It's a fight for justice and.
So it's based on the Bible. Job.
It's written by Americans.
So, Americans love the Bible, therefore superheroes are Jesus?
We should stay away from this because we don't want to offend anyone. Okay. And I might say something which I might regret. So
we agree Jesus was a superhero.
Yeah, let's say that.
Let's go with that.
He's imaginary as well.
He is virtually Superman, but in a robe with long hair and a beard.
They all have one thing in common. They're imaginary.
They're imagined.
Oh, you made me do it.
Well, there's a crossroads, and there's a Superman, there's an Easter Bunny, there's Santa Claus, and there's Jesus, and there's a pot of gold in the middle. Who gets to it first? None of them, because they're not real.
We've gone there.
Yeah.
There'll be people in America praying for our souls.
Yeah, because like 66% of our viewership out of the 20-odd views is American. I'm well happy about this somehow.
We're not meaning to offend you, by the way.
No, we're really not.
It is just first thing that comes to our heads and we say. So, again, this is a brief, serious moment, and to say nothing we say in these is to offend anyone. Anyway, next one. So I can't really talk about Frank Miller because you've not properly read.
Fair enough.
So, which is slightly annoying, but
I'm so sorry.
It gives us something to talk about later. So let's just we've written kind of like what we want to discuss in this one, but we're going to try and skip to something which I think, after talking about Batman, we might as well continue with him and finish him off. We'll go straight to the Injustice battles.
Justice.
And you've decided to go, instead of just naming random ones, you've decided to go on the internet.
I'm going the actual fights which they've got up on the website. You might as well, if you were going to stick with this, we might as well use the actual ones. Because it's all on a voting system anyway.
So
Our votes count, Will.
Our votes count. I'm not voted, so mine not doing anything.
No, same here.
Okay, so the first one.
Batman versus Wonder Woman.
See, I want to clear something up, because I didn't really just release in the first. Is it a fight to the death, or is it just a fight to someone first gives in?
I think it's fight. We're going to go with fights first give in, because at that point Wonder Woman wins. But at the end of the day, Wonder Woman wins. Wonder Woman wins every time.
If it was like to the ultimate end, because she's a god and she has rejuvenating powers and all this type of stuff.
She's a god.
Yeah, but in a fight, Batman always has the brains. So he would figure something to make her be weak for a certain second. Look at Dark Knight, okay? He fights Superman and weakens him, so it weakens him. So
yes, but that's because he's got help.
But weakens him. He uses his brain to do that. I'm saying
she's not vulnerable to kryptonite.
Yeah, but she's got to have some weakness. We don't know enough about Wonder Woman. She probably has some weakness.
But then she'll just
most gods, if you say, "I don't believe in you," then you're not. No, he does.
It doesn't work like that.
If you don't believe in a god, then technically, to you, she's not a god.
Then she wraps the lasso of truth around you, gets you all the answers from you, saying.
See, it's one of those things that it only works if you believe there's a rope there, though. Is that this like?
No. Yeah. Because we know it's real, because there's a comic about it, because they're real.
Invisible.
Because they're clearly real.
No. Batman always wins. We know how this is gearing up. It's going to be a final between Batman and Superman.
Yeah. Vote-wise, it's going to be Batman, but in an ideal world, Wonder Woman would beat Batman.
No, I've got a good props. Batman will figure some way out. It's too clever.
No.
He is too clever.
No. Should just make him an idiot. She's God. Change reality.
She's only an Amazonian goddess.
It don't matter. She's God.
She's only a god in that kind of in Brazil.
Still a god.
It could be on Tweed.
It's a god.
Yeah.
It's a god.
Annoying god.
Ah, well. We haven't read anything about it, so.
Flash versus Joker.
In an actual fight, Flash wins. I'd love the Joker to win. I love the Joker. He's a great villain. Flash wins.
Suicide battle. Joker would just wrap himself in bombs.
But he's then dead, so there's no win there.
But then he blows up Flash.
But he's no win.
But no one wins. It's a draw.
Flash can go through, can teleport. Well, because he goes through so fast, he can go through walls, he can go through solid objects. Flash wins.
I just want Joker to win. See, we
all want Joker to win, but Flash wins. Flash wins. He just needs to run at him fast enough. He's going to do enough damage with the speed. Flash wins. I don't want him to. He's boring as hell. I read Flash #1. He was shit.
Before the fight, Joker puts around him motion sensors lined.
No.
With bombs, and
it doesn't start like.
Basically, that sets off like mines that are like they're being put out across a radius of say 100 miles.
No.
So anywhere in 100 miles, he will touch a mine and get blown up.
No, Flash wins because that's just a stupid reality. Flash wins. Okay. It is in the game. Flash wins.
Okay. Aquaman versus Green Lantern.
Aquaman.
Green Lantern lifts him up into space. Aquaman's useless.
Before he does that, Aquaman takes him into the sea and drowns him.
This is probably fighting in downtown Gotham.
And it's an island, if you remember, because it's based on Manhattan.
If you're in the middle of Gotham, the middle, not near the side.
Middle of Gotham. Just like. Yeah, lots of sound effects. Like,
no, Green Lantern.
Aquaman.
I mean, he just puts a construct around him and he's protected from everything.
You use this excuse every time.
But that's the way it works.
No, it doesn't. Aquaman just uses his strength to bend the bars then.
Can't.
They're not invulnerable.
Not many things.
His powers run. What happens if his powers run out halfway through?
It won't happen in the game.
How do you know? How do you know he's got his ring charged?
He's not going to go into battle without it being charged.
He might do.
It's not Ryan Reynolds.
Remember, Ryan Reynolds did play him in the film. He's a retard. Therefore,
but this is comic book Green Lantern.
At the moment, if we're going to go with the moment, he doesn't have... Aquaman wins because Sinestro takes his powers away from...
He gets back again at the end.
Thanks for that. I ain't read it all.
Oh, you forced me into that. You took me down that avenue.
Sinestro takes his powers away from him. He's just like, didn't want you to fight. I'm going to be a bit of a bitch. And now you've ruined it. Ruined it.
You forced me to.
Fair enough. I'll read
To
it
correct
anyway.
you.
I would assume that he would get his powers back anyway. Wouldn't just be like, oh, well, I've got to be his bitch for the rest of life and time. Anyway, we'll agree to disagree on that one.
Alright.
Superman versus Green Arrow. Superman.
Ruins it.
No point. Yeah.
And the only way Green Arrow would win is if it's just a fight to weaken him, is if he laced his arrows.
The Kryptonite arrows from Dark Knight Returns as an example. Yeah, it's the only way it's going to happen. Otherwise, Superman just...
No, actually, that is feasible. But
the thing is,
Superman's got super speed, so you have to catch him by surprise to get him with the arrow.
That's the thing.
So there we go.
Face on face. I was just about to say that if he's aware of it, he'll use his heat vision just to vaporize the arrow anyway. So there's no.
But you have to make sure then if he vaporizes the arrow midair to be out of the splatter zone.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Though he's aware of things.
And then you have to go
when
around.
Dark Knight Returns, he's taken off guard because he's fighting Batman, and Green Arrow's just.
Awesome scene, by the way.
Yeah, it really.
The artwork in that book is fantastic.
Fuck you. I'll read it eventually.
All by pencil, which is
yeah, that's the thing. Some artwork these days, it's too crisp and clean. You like that? I've looked through it and it just looks awesome because it's just
Batman. That's all you need.
It's Batman.
That's everything. That's the answer to everything.
So we agreed on that. So we got the Superman beats Green Arrow. Split decision on the Batman Wonder Woman.
But we know Batman's going to win due to popularity, so...
Batman's going to win due to popularity anyway.
We know what the final's going to be. They've opted up to be Batman versus Superman.
It's going to always be that, because it's down to the public at the end of the day. And the public love that. Flash beats Joker just on a technicality, because he can just...
And Green Lantern beats Aquaman.
Fuck you, it's a split decision. I'd actually like to see what that result is.
Green Lantern is awesome.
We will see what the result is.
And he has a whole team behind him.
Tell us what you think it will be, again, at MW Comic Podcast. Twitter, thank God.
I don't think Aquaman can throw at him. Starfish.
He uses a shark in the game to eat people.
If a shark stays still, it dies. So just sit on it.
But he's just jumped out and devoured you.
So you dodge the initial bite. When it's flapping on the ground, sit on it. If it doesn't move, it dies. The sharks have to keep moving to stay alive.
And then you've angered Aquaman by killing a shark, and then he's just like raged. Then he gets Mira to kill you as well.
It was Mira.
His wife.
She a seahorse?
No, like the Mariana Trench.
That means nothing to me.
You know that really, it's the deepest part of the ocean. James Cameron went into it not long back.
Yeah, it reminds me too much of Little Mermaid. I don't read it.
Oh, God. It's a really good book. You should really read it. I'll lend you when I get volume 1 and 2.
I probably will, and I'll probably enjoy it. But it's just always fun to take the piss out of Aquaman.
It is. Well, everyone else does in the actual book itself, so why not?
Random list. You found a random list on the internet anyway.
Yeah, I think I've left that upstairs, so we might have to leave that
We'll create our own list.
Yeah, on the list, pretty much what it was is 10 movie mistakes when making comic book films. I had a big issue with this because number 8, and you could clearly see this was made from a people who make or watch movies perspective than a people who read comic books. Mainly because number 8 was diverts from source material.
That's
number 1 every time.
No, well, in our world it's number 2. Number 1 is always Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah, don't hire Ryan Reynolds is number 1 every time. But no, don't diverse from source material was 8, while number 1 ended up being too many villains don't make for a bigger threat. Which, again, from a movie's perspective, I understand, but from a comic book's perspective, no chance.
It's one of the things, the too many villains thing. Yeah, that ruined the Spider-Man movies, though, didn't it? The original, the one with Tobey Maguire.
Well, except for the first one, because that only had one. It was just Tobey Maguire.
I think in the third one you had Sandman, Venom, and Osborn.
Was Osborn in it still? I just can't remember. I've watched that film once.
That's what he said on the list. But
Yeah.
anyway, yeah, because I turned it off halfway through because I hate those films. To be honest, those films, I think that was one of the reasons why I have such a low opinion of Spider-Man, because those films, I love the cartoon, but there's something about that just ruined it for me.
That's fair
And
enough.
that's something that I will always have hate Tobey Maguire for.
And Tobey Maguire, he was terrible in them films. But the new Amazing Spider-Man it's a great little reboot.
And I've kind of fallen on myself. I said I'll watch that.
You're gonna watch it. It'll either be
Probably
tomorrow.
probably tomorrow morning.
So that'll be his opinion will come up for 25 minutes if he doesn't like it next week.
Yeah, I won't go on too much. I'll do a brief thing. I promise. No donkey balls. Bendis donkey balls.
Sorry, I'm just laughing at that.
I said I would.
No, it's great, and the lizard looks absolutely mind blowing. I'm glad they used him. They just really, there's a couple that I'd really like to see in Spider-Man films. You know, Scorpion was one. And
They're doing in the next one. I think the next one.
Rhino's gonna be in it.
They've got a Rhino.
I'm so happy.
I think they're going too many villains here again. Rhino, Shocker.
Shocker's in it.
Yeah, they've got Jamie Foxx playing
Nice.
Shocker.
I thought he was playing Rhino.
The Rhino, I think, is being played by Paul Giamatti.
Oh, okay.
And I think who was
Oh no, Jamie Foxx is playing Electro.
No, Shocker's the one with all that.
Yeah, but it's Electro that's in it, not Shocker. I'm sure of this. He's playing Electro because I was just like, he's going to check IMDb now.
And the other one is Osborn's going to be in it.
Again?
Chris Cooper playing Osborn.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, no, I'm sure it's Electro because I was just like, really? They're having the Doomsday Project put back into this film franchise? Well,
See,
not into the
that
film.
would be a perfect Marvel crossover story to do, bringing all the heroes together for that story.
See, that's what
For
they
the
did
Doomsday
it
Red
originally in
Skull.
the cartoon. Did you ever watch the Spider-Man cartoon with that?
I watched all the cartoons back in the day, all of Fox Kids.
That was an absolutely brilliant storyline. The Electro storyline with the Avengers, with Cap America and all the rest of them. I just love that section of it.
Electro, you're alright?
Yes! Yeah, no, I think it was just
I've
because
never claimed to be... Yeah, look,
No,
Paul Giamatti.
he's playing Rhino.
I know, he doesn't look like a rhino, does he? He looks like a big, fat dude. Well, no, I won't say he's fat, that's
He just he needs to do what Kevin James did for the... just shed a load of weight.
I'll turn the fat to muscle.
Yeah, there's that.
We'll see what happens.
See how it goes. Hopefully it'll be alright, because Rhino, though, he's more of an enforcer than he is an actual main character.
Yeah. Right, back to the list. We're divulging here.
But I thought that's what you want to do.
We are, well, we are.
Flow it.
We've got to flow this motherfucker like it's a river, but
Flow like Poe.
flow like Poe. Next on the
MC
list.
Lars right there.
The source material, obviously, for me is the big one, like you said. There's so much things that annoy me. Like part of things with the X-Men, I'm really disappointed they didn't look at Apocalypse or Mr. Sinister for the as the villains.
It is the problem with having Fox owning the rights into with anything. If you're not going to give the source material back to the people who originally created it, or the creators of the source material giving the rights to Fox, or obviously Sony for Spider-Man, giving them the rights to use major story points, you're going to have problems every which way, which is a problem.
That is true. Bad casting. We said that, bad casting.
Tobey Maguire.
Ryan Reynolds. Chris Evans playing two different heroes.
Yes, but that was the thing which was done by Marvel anyway, so it's...
And the Fantastic Four, which was not done by Marvel, but still,
yeah.
it pisses me off.
There have been some bad casting.
There's nothing harming in having a dialogue between the two people.
No, that's fair enough. Bad casting for me, as I think I mentioned last week. Vinnie Jones is the Juggernaut.
Yeah.
I love that character. He's a great character, but that's awful.
Yeah. You didn't like the X-Men films anyway after number 1.
I like number 2.
You like number 2, number 3.
Number 4. I just didn't like 3. 3 was shite.
What's number 4?
Origins.
The First Class.
No, Origins. Wolverine.
It
was alright.
That's not really counted as the 4th X-Men film, though, is it? It's a spin-off.
Okay, fair enough. Then First Class, which was excellent.
Oh, it's a prequel.
It's not the fourth
It's not
film.
necessarily follow, is it? It's a prequel.
Stop arguing. It's the fourth film that they brought out. It's like the argument when you always... Not you, but it's like the argument with Star Wars.
Episodes 1.
Is it fifth film? Is it Empire Strikes Back? Or is it technically Attack of the Clones?
It depends how you're talking. If you're talking...
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's just an awkward thing.
If you clearly designate, okay, the fifth one made, then you know...
If you say episode...
As soon as you mention the word episode...
Always use the word episode when doing Star Wars because it just becomes so confusing. Because you're like, number 5 was awesome. It's just like, go home, you're drunk. It was alright, Attack of the Clones. Not great. Anyway,
so what else is on this list? Now I'm thinking I think there's really just a top 4 that you really have to be careful. The rest are pretty much minor ones that we can kind of overlook.
Yeah, the majority was you've got to giving your characters their due.
Yeah, Scott Summers.
The Scott Summers one was the extension.
Cyclops, if you want his mutant name.
From Last Stand, again, X-Men 3. That death was possibly one of the worst ones, other than Talia from the Batman film. Was
Dollar Bill from Watchmen.
Dollar Bill's Watchmen. They 3.
But that was actually in the comic books. They couldn't really skate around that.
I know, it's just why. At the end of the day, even if it was in the comic books, it was a terrible death. You feel sorry for these ones where they've just been, their deaths have been half-arsed, in a sense.
But if you look at it in figures, we're going like possibility and odds and stuff. Out of 100 deaths, at least one of them's got to be retarded.
Yeah.
You're not going to have 100 honourable deaths.
Fair enough.
We'd at least have one bad one.
Dollar Bills was terrible in a revolving door, getting his cape and hanging himself. It just feels like a bit of overkill when you think of it like that.
Watchmen is violent. It's got to somehow get the comedy and the violence in all at once.
Fair enough. The Scott Summers one, as I say, though, in Last Stand was just so terrible. It was just like, hi, Scott. By the way, Scott's dead. And that was the silence afterwards.
Yeah, disappointing.
And Talia...
I never liked the actor for... back to the casting. James Marsden played the role, and I hated it.
It wasn't... The casting wasn't great. I think the lower level characters had a better cast than the...
Hugh Jackman was alright.
Hugh Jackman.
Halle Berry can't act. She's fit to look at. Well, she was back in the day.
Playing Storm, she just played terrible Storm.
She can't act. She won a Raspberry for her performance, which is like worst film type Oscars for her performance in Catwoman.
Yes,
which is
truly... Nobody likes that film.
Truly awful. Catwoman's awesome.
Catwoman is awesome, but... What's her name did it recently, which was a very good role in it.
Anne Hathaway.
Anne Hathaway's was great.
When everyone mentions Anne Hathaway, the name, I think Shakespeare's wife. That's what William Shakespeare's wife was called.
Was it? I don't have a clue. Fair enough. And Michelle Pfeiffer, from which, in my opinion, was the best Catwoman. She just looked awesome as well in that film.
I never rate them in the top ones, but I like the Catwoman from the original TV series back in the 60s.
What's her name?
There was a couple that played it. Eartha Kitt was one.
Eartha Kitt was... She was the first... Was she the first one?
I think there's been 7 different Catwomen on screen or something like that. So I would probably get that wrong, but I see...
Tweet us.
There's a lot of things on that. I love... When everyone looks at Batman, they discount the original TV series because it's so dated.
It's cheesy as well.
But if you watch it, if you accept it for what it is, which is pure cheesy, it's actually quite enjoyable. You don't know why, but you watch it and you'll see yourself laughing and enjoying it.
So, and I do mean to watch that. The only problem with it was until recently, you couldn't get the stuff.
See, I would love this. I'm quite... See, I've got Thundercats Season 1 on DVD, which from my child, I would love to have the original TV series on DVD.
as I say, you're going to have trouble getting it at a decent price because until, I'm not kidding, 6 months ago, they would not sell any merchandise from the original TV show. They wouldn't give them the rights. Now they've signed deals and everything, so I think they're going to re-release some stuff. So.
That and the original animated series.
Oh, it's just absolutely
so epic.
Brilliant.
So epic. And this links back to something that, well, you bringing this up, but it reminds me of something you put on Twitter. Joker, best.
Mark
Hamill.
Mark Hamill is my favourite Joker. It doesn't matter that he didn't do the acting. Apparently, he did the acting when he was actually in the studio, in the booths doing it. But just that voice of thing and the laugh, that Joker for me is just. It was my childhood.
Yeah, it was our childhood. But reading it, and I came up with something which I don't know if there's any credence to this. But as I was seeing the Batman comics, even in the New 52, you have your plain Batman comics, your detective comics, and then you have your Dark Knight.
I think there's a couple. Then there's Batman and Robin, but we'll discount that.
For me, Mark Hamill's Joker was what you would see in plain Batman or Detective Comics, whereas Heath Ledger's was strictly Dark Knight, which is a bit more dark and sinister. So for me, they're very different Jokers.
Yeah,
it purely comes down to which Joker you prefer.
Representation of that character. I always it always annoys me when you get the people who just like, obviously I'm discarding Mark Hamill here, is when it's just like thingy. Heath Ledger played this amazing Joker, and I'm just like, I agree. Well, I may say that he played a brilliant Joker. He absolutely did. And then people are like, well, Jack Nicholson's Batman. I'm just like, different. I wouldn't say they're any better or worse from each other. I agree they're both absolutely brilliant. And him doing that it was his second to last role, was it, Heath Ledger?
Yeah, because he died halfway through the shooting of Dr. Parnassus or something.
Imaginarium. That's a great film.
The one thing I will say is this is one of the things where which I'm happy. I'm saying, do you know what? I'm not going to say there's a number one for me.
Yeah,
they play different.
They're all brilliant.
They're different ones. You can compare Mark Hamill and Jack Nicholson because they play the same like comedic gangster type thing, but you can't compare them to the guy who played him in
Heath Ledger.
No, the guy who played him in the original TV series.
Thing.
You can't really compare those Jokers, that particular version of Joker, to the Heath Ledger Joker.
Fair enough.
Obviously, there's a few voice artists who have done a very similar Joker. John DiMaggio, and I can't remember the other one from Dark Knight.
What Returns?
Yeah, can't remember who did the voice in,
but it worked for that so well.
But I think Heath Ledger for me is pure brilliance. Rest in peace, may he.
Rest in peace. Yeah, brother.
But as we've covered, because of your revelations on Twitter, I'm gonna ask you a question now. Who's your favourite person to play Batman? Voice like cartoon or serious?
The original animated cartoon. I have a strong opinion on this that I don't believe any movie Batman has ever played a great Batman.
Michael Keaton got the closest.
He was the closest. He was good.
Aesthetically looked like him though.
Yeah, he was good. He wasn't great. The actual TV show, the voice, the portrayal was great.
Kevin Conroy is the name you're looking for.
That one. Thank you very much. But I always think that the film ones are always outshined by the villain cast because Danny DeVito was brilliant in that film. Michelle Pfeiffer in Returns. Obviously, Jack Nicholson, as we just discussed, was brilliant in the original one. George Clooney was wank, and so was the rest of the film. We don't discuss the last two.
Don't discuss the last two, the Forever and Robin, Batman and Robin, because it'll just make me cry on what they did to Batman.
Terrible films, and they weren't good Batmans as it is. So I would literally probably go for the original. Either Adam West, because he's so lovable as Batman, and he was pissed constantly on stage, and or the animated TV show from when we were children.
Yeah, so for me, obviously, I would say above all, Kevin Conroy is the best. But if movie-wise, Michael Keaton got it for me.
Definitely.
For me, he didn't. He got the acting right. For me, he just didn't look like Batman.
Yeah.
That was the only thing that put me off. He didn't look like it.
How much I dislike Christian Bale as Batman, I still think he's got to be second in that list, even though I don't like him as Batman.
Yeah, because George Clooney and Val Kilmer sucked ass.
Yeah, they were pretty bad.
No, but Kevin Conroy, and it's like you look at Christian Bale, and he had to change his voice when he was to that growl when he was Batman. You look at Kevin Conroy. He didn't necessarily change his voice. It was the tone.
Yeah, he just got deeper.
When he was Bruce, he kind of put on this fake sincerity, like just because he was paying a show to everyone of this playboy. So he put on this fake sincerity, like he was an actor acting.
Yeah, he didn't have to go. The Joker's got some. I'm just going to talk like this. Oh, through. And even when I get stabbed, I'm going to betray this, even though I'm just got stabbed.
And with that fake sincerity, he played down his intelligence and he played down everything. As soon as he donned that suit, it was kind of like seriousness and all this passion came out in this clear objective. But an interesting fact today, I was listening to the Mark Hamill Fat Man on Batman.
Kevin Smith's Batman on Batman. Give it a listen if you're a Batman fan. It's virtually just so many episodes so far. I can't remember how many.
30, I think.
Is it really that many?
30.
Jesus Christ! I've listened to all of them.
Anyway, his point is, with the Mark Hamill one, you were saying about Kevin Conroy, and apparently he's never read any Batman comics. Kevin Conroy, not in preparation, or anything. So he's purely got that from the script. So I don't know whether we should decry that or we hats off. I'm tend to be one hats off. You've read the script,
yeah,
and you play a Batman, which for me is the best representation of the Batman that I picture from the comics, which I've now read to substantiate my view that he was my favourite.
Yeah, he was absolutely spot on.
So it's just good. So we'll go for miscellaneous now. So miscellaneous villains. Who was your favourite? Not just
from Batman, but for anything.
No. In Batman, but depicted in films.
Oh, okay.
And the cartoons, the ones that you've.
Clayface by far.
Kind of
just brilliant.
Clayface, yeah. I was surprised to hear what I heard it did the voice for that.
Who was it again? You did say
Ron Perlman, Hellboy.
Hellboy, yeah. I remember you saying. I remember very little on names. Yeah, no. Clayface was the thing. As I say, representation. I don't know why, but the Michelle Pfeiffer always is a teenage lad is always great. Anyway,
we love Catwoman. I think she was just brilliant. In fact, she wasn't necessarily a pure villain as such. It was kind of
it's
like the naughty, what's the word? Girl factor. It's kind of like she wants to be punished type thing. It's kind of sexual turn on for.
See, that's the better ones with Harley Quinn then from the animated TV show.
Harley Quinn
is just.
I like Dr. Freeze. I liked him in the original. In the cartoons, I like that.
Yeah, the Freeze, not the Arnold Schwarzenegger version.
The Arnold Schwarzenegger one.
No, Mr. Freeze was brilliant.
I loved Aaron Eckhart's version of Two-Face.
Is that he was the TV show?
He was in the films. The second Chris Nolan film. Obviously, the one with one with Heath Ledger.
Oh, okay, yeah.
That too. I think Tommy Lee Jones didn't get the tortured, the psychological battle that was going on in his head. He didn't get the psychology of Two-Face right.
Yeah, he was. The other one was great. He didn't get enough screen time, in my opinion, though.
To be honest, I know Christopher Nolan had this vision as such, but they could have done a film just with.
He seemed to. It seemed to be like, I've had my face done. then they'll skip to another part where he's a bit crazy, but they never showed anything in between, which was a bit of a shame because it would have been nice to see a decent representation. After the appalling representation of Bane in the Batman and Robin film, we got a good representation with Tom Hardy.
But he wasn't Mexican. If we went back to our big movie mistakes...
Yeah, okay, he wasn't Mexican.
The prison was set in the Middle East.
But it's still better than Batman and Robin.
Granted, he was set in the Middle East, where we know that it was a Mexican prison.
Yeah, he wasn't... Well, he was a Mexican wrestler originally, wasn't he?
You can't have that lucha libre look,
yeah.
Let's call it.
But it was what I liked about it was in the original, as I say, the Batman and Robin film, he was portrayed as a mindless goon. Obviously, he had the Venom bit and blah blah blah, and he took orders from Poison Ivy, which Uma Thurman again destroyed. But he
cold shoulders down the spine.
In everything else, he's portrayed as a.
Ooh,
we got a guest.
We got a guest. Can't help now halfway through.
And we have been told that we need to shush soon, but we'll just finish this last bit.
We won't listen, so we'll just keep on talking.
I don't like this, but we'll come close to the microphone and just be quiet. I think this will work. But no, obviously, as I was saying, Bane in the other film was a mindless goon, and he was thinking, he's not. In the cartoons, in the comics, he's a intelligent, strategical bloke.
He's brilliant. I gotta admit, I kind of forgive that mistake. I loved it. I love the Christopher Nolan films. I could watch those films every day, every week.
They were absolutely brilliant as a reboot.
Brilliant. Absolutely fantastic. Other films, one film which I've not seen much about and I would like to read much, I'd like to find something and read about it, Mr. Zsasz.
Yeah, sorry.
Apparently, from what I've heard in the Kevin Smith thing, he's a normal person, he's a serial killer, but every time he kills someone, he cuts himself. I don't know why that's so appealing, but it'd be interesting to see why you're just trying to Nazi sign.
I haven't. I'm going for the Buddhist symbol, thank you very much, you racist person.
Anyway, I thought it'd be interesting to see the psychology and how that develops. So, if anyone out there in our small universe can recommend a particular storyline or graphic novel in which he appears, let me know.
MW Comic Podcast, Twitter. Also, we're going to have, I'm going to be uploading everything to YouTube over the next day, and I'll be posting links on both my Facebook, which no one has anyway, so it doesn't really matter, and MW Comic Podcast Twitter account, so everything will be on there, and it'll either be on SoundCloud or YouTube, and we'll try and up the views, see how it goes.
But, okay, we've covered villains. Is there any particular non-villain character from Batman you liked?
By non-villain, do you mean hero, or do you mean...
Just playing character. I have one in my mind from the animated series.
I always like Bellic.
Harvey Bullock.
Yeah, that one.
That's the one I was on about.
Yeah, Bullock was great.
Fist pump there, that was kind of in sync.
He was slightly retarded, granted, at the time, but he was...
Yeah.
He wanted to do well in the world, but he just didn't seem to be able to get there.
No, if you read, what was it now? What was the Jeff Johns one? The one that you got, Earth one.
That was
the Harvey Bullock in that is nothing near.
No,
the Harvey Bullock you've seen them.
A new starry-eyed person who's just trying to think, and then. But I think obviously from the way that ends, even though it was a terrible book, it shows it is. I need to nip to the library tomorrow. Just remind me. That he, at the end, he starts drinking, doesn't he? He starts going down in a spiral. Yeah. Terrible book, but it does show that at the end.
Connection. Boom. There we go. We've got the connection. That's it. That's the link between how he could drink and get so fat that it becomes the Harvey Bullock that we know in the animated TV series.
So they actually did connect.
Linked it.
I know.
Boom.
Boom. Wow. See that soundbite there? There's the slapping of the hands.
They love it. They might love this.
Thanks for that, William.
God, it's
If
gonna
you
be
need to
natural.
beat him up, we'll be in works up tomorrow, but you're probably not going to hear this before tomorrow, so who cares? Beat him up.
So that's kind of a journey that we had in our minds when we thought this is what we want to discuss. But I don't like this. This I want it to end on a natural clue, but inevitably it doesn't, because even in your mind you draw a list of what's coming, and my battery is about to die on my laptop.
Yeah, so we're going to have to charge this before we do our next podcast, so we'll see how that goes. But at the end of the day, well, we're going to go with thing. We're going to close it up. What's the big read for the next week?
Big Batman.
The Batman.
One word, Batman.
Which Batman?
Arkham Asylum.
The Arkham Asylum. When it arrives.
Hopefully that'll come pretty soon. Until then, Exiles Volume 1.
How's that going so far? How much?
I haven't touched it yet.
You haven't touched it yet. That's fair enough.
So,
I'm coming up to date with Swamp Thing and Animal Man. I'm going to finish off Greenland.
Pretty cool.
But so if there's any recommendations, let us know. MW Comic Podcast again.
And correct us if you want.
And that thing. Good night, good evening. Happy reading!